Good to see you guys again. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. I will try to speak up. Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Kafaya, as you can see from the bottom here, if you can see my screen, well, if you can see my name. I'm a community learning specialist with Do Space, and welcome to Kid Coders After School Club. Well, After School Club Kid Coders. I am going to get started in a few seconds now. I was just waiting for a few more friends to join us before we dive right into our activity for today. About 5 more seconds, just to see if anyone else is going to pop in, and we will get started. Awesome, I think we're good to go. So hello everyone, welcome to Do Space Digital After School Kid Coders. My name is and would always be Kafaya, and without further ado, today's activity is a bit exciting, and it's something a few of us are quite familiar with. But for today, we're going to be learning how to code with iCompute. And the awesome thing about learning to code with iCompute is it's not, you don't always have to learn with a specific language. Even though this looks like Scratch, there are a few other lessons that would come as we go along that are not based on Scratch. As you can see right here, this is what the website looks like. This is what it is. So the plan for us is to learn how to code with iCompute, where we have the option to create or program our own interactive and fantastic stories and animations. So it's going to be creative, fun, and just a lot of activities to help us develop our computational thinking as well as coding skills. Computational thinking is very awesome. It's something I'm always excited to talk about or learn. And as you guys go along, as you all go along, we will learn and you would see how exciting computational thinking is. Like, who doesn't want to think like computers? Very logically and smart. Okay, so these are the list of activities that you have the option to explore on the iCompute Learning Programming Activity website. But of course, it helps to start from the top. So for today, we're going to be starting with activity 1, which is programming movement. And I'm going to put the link in the chat on Twitch for anyone else that maybe didn't have the link and you just want to go right ahead and work with me. You can definitely do that. And also, if maybe you just want to observe me do the work, that's totally fine. You have the link to refer back to at any time that is convenient for you. So if you're maybe bored on a Saturday or Sunday or any day after school and you want something exciting and cool and you want to exercise your computational thinking skills, there's so many activities depending on the year and how advanced you are. You can definitely just go here and choose an activity to do. So for today, like I said earlier, because I realize I'm just rambling on, for today we're going to start with our first activity, which is programming movement. So if you click on the first one, the first activity right here, it takes you to a page that looks like this. So what this looks like is a guide, like a manual that you would follow just to program your own sprites to jump using arrow keys. So of course, feel free to work along with me. If you need me to reiterate or if you need me to explain anything over again, I'm more than happy to do that. That's why we're here. We're here to help each other and learn together. So this right here, welcome. You are going to program a sprite to jump using arrow keys. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with Scratch. Scratch is quite popular and it's one of my favorites. So we're of course going to follow the list or the instructions on the activity checklist, and we will do our best to execute everything that it asks us to do right here. So let me see if I can have two different screens. Give me a second. Awesome. So right here, I have I should probably make that smaller too. Yes, as you can see right here, I have my instructions on one side and my Scratch on the other. Cool. We will try our best to make the best of this. Nice. And I will try my best to make the screens as big as I can as we go along, just so that you can see everything that we do. So to start with our activity checklist, we're going to start a new empty project by opening the Scratch editor, which I just did right now, and that's why I'm here. I opened it side by side so you can see exactly what I do when I do it and see the instructions on this side. So first, we are going to say bye-bye to Sprite the cat. So I'm just going to click on this trash can right here to delete, and everything is gone. Now we get to choose a new sprite from our sprites library. And to do that, we're going to click on the Scratch icon right here, or the sprite icon right here. So here we go. And now this is where we get to exercise our creativity and choose whatever sprite it is that we want to play with today. So, okay, let's do that. Does anyone have any suggestions on what they want our sprite to be? Or should I keep scrolling? Let's see if we can find a butterfly. Ooh, right here. We found a butterfly. So we are going to use a butterfly for today's activity. So now that we have chosen our sprite from the library. Ooh, no. Okay, yeah, we're good. So we selected our sprite. We have chosen our sprite from the library, and now we're going to program some movement. Awesome. So now let's program the sprite to move. To do that, we're going to select in the Events tab. Let me make this smaller. Okay, so step 2. Let's program the sprite to move. Select the events block right here, which is this, and drag out the when the green flag is clicked sprite, which is what I have right here. Next, we are going to okay, so we get to choose our motion. I hesitated because right here it asks that we go to the motion block, but I know that I see our forever loop here, so I was just getting ahead of myself. We are going to get to that. So now click the motion category and drag out move steps block. So this is me here in the motions tab. That's the first one on the list of the different tabs that we have. And next we get to drag out the move 10 steps block. So move 10 steps, it's right here. I'm just going to drag it into our workspace, and that is checked. Cool. So next we go loopy and make our sprite move around forever. So to do that, we're going to drag our forever block from the control tray And right here, just going to place this here and attach it to when our green flag is clicked. Next, we get to attach an if on edge bounce block under the move block. That makes sense, so that our butterfly doesn't fly out of the page. So now I'm going to go back into my motions tab and find the block that says if on edge bounce. Awesome, so that's it right there. Cool. And let's check that. So the next thing on our activity list is to make our sprite jump up and down. And oh, what happened? Okay, I think we should test this out first before we lose it. So now, as you can see, our butterfly just keeps gliding across the screen. And yeah, if you haven't worked with Scratch before, you just did your first animation. Let's go back in here and see if we can change something about our sprite. Let's see, costumes. I don't want my sprites to go upside down. I just want it to stay upright. So another thing we can do is to make our sprite switch between costumes. So let's go back here and go into the looks tab and move 10 steps, next costume. Ooh, okay. Now we're going to add a weight just so that we can see the transition. So move 10 steps, next costume, and wait a second. Okay. Why is my awesome? Much better. So do you see right here? We animated our butterfly. Awesome. So let's go back to the activity. That was just a little segue that I took. You don't have to do that. Okay. So now we have made our sprite move all around the screen, and that was awesome to watch. So the next thing we're doing now is to clear the script canvas by dragging and dropping all the blocks in the block palette. And we're going to choose a second sprite. So this is what we're doing, just to delete everything. And now we're going to go choose a second sprite, and in this case we're getting the ballerina. So I'm going to go in here and get our good friend the ballerina and a trampoline. So we go into the sports category and find our trampoline right there. Awesome! I love this. I'm just going to leave our butterfly in the corner right there. Just put it somewhere up here. Awesome. Cool. So when choose a second sprite from the library, the trampoline is listed under the sports category. Drag to position the trampoline under your other sprite. So a trampoline is under our ballerina. Okay, cool. Then select the bouncing sprite in the sprites pane. Okay, I'm going to go into costumes and okay. Next it says drag out when the space key is pressed, right? Like this, like so, like this. Then select the space and choose the up arrow. What? Okay. Awesome. So when my up arrow key is pressed, I want to change by 10. Okay. So I'm going to go into my motions tray to grab my awesome. So now we get to test this out using the up key. Interesting. I want to change my costume for the ballerina. Okay. So execute your code by using the arrow key, drag out another one, and down. Cool. So when we go up, she jumps up, and when we go down, she comes back down. Okay, so we're just going to go back into our events tab and drag this block out again. And now we're going to change that to the down arrow. And we're going to attach a motion block, but make it move -10 steps. Awesome. Oh, I see. I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be move 10 steps, not change 10 steps. Or change X by 10 and oh, that was Y, not X. Pardon me, guys. I seem to be struggling today. Okay, so -10. Cool. So now we're going to test it. So I'm just going to go here, and when I go up, she goes up, and down, she goes down. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It looks like she's jumping on the trampoline. That was awesome. Let's see how much more we can add to this. Let's see how we can improve this activity on our own. But so far so good. We completed the challenge, and now we're going to add a little bit more for ourselves. So I wonder what we can do. So right here we have our ballerina, and we know she jumps. What if we wanted her to change costume every time she jumped? So when I hit the up arrow, I want her to switch costume to ballerina D. Yes. And when I hit my down arrow, I want her to switch costumes to ballerina A. Okay. So switch costumes to ballerina A and move down. Yep. Let's test that out now. When I go up, she jumps up, and down, she's down. Okay. Oh, I didn't switch my costume to A. Awesome. So when she goes up, she comes down, up and down, up and down. Okay. Another thing we could do to make this more specific is when we hit the down arrow, we want her to come back to this exact position. So when we hit down, we want our ballerina to come back to X36 and Y12. And to do that, we go into our motions tab, and right here, we can switch that out. Okay, so when we go up, she goes up, and when we go down, she comes back. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, let's add a background to bring this alive. Where do we want our ballerina to be? In the park, or at the beach, or where? Let's see what we can find. Okay, I see beaches, but I don't see parks. The outdoors. I'm happy to take any suggestions that you guys have, but where would be a good location for our ballerina to jump on the trampoline? Let's put her, I guess, on the bench, on the beach, on the field. Okay, awesome. And now, every time we hit the up button, she goes up when I hit my arrow. And when I come down, she comes back down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. So we can say bye to that. And there we have it. We just did some animation using our arrow key to do that. So up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and down, up and down. Let's see. If we wanted to make our ballerina go higher, we can just change the Y position by 10. So let's change this to 20. So every time I hit my up arrow, every time I hit my up arrow, she goes up 20, and down, she comes back home. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Awesome. So that's that about activity 1. I think this sets us up in a good position to move to the next activity. So let's see. We did that. We added a backdrop. Okay, let's see if we can use our butterfly and make our butterfly move around the screen. 18. Or maybe 50. 80 looks really big. So now we're going to go into our control tab and events. When the green flag is clicked, we want this to happen forever, so we're going to use our loop, and we want our butterfly to glide across the screen. So I'm going to go into motion, and let's see. And the next costume. Okay, so let's test this out. Cool. Oops. I kept going up, so my girl kept flying. My ballerina kept flying. Awesome. As you can see, we're able to make 2 things happen simultaneously. So we have butterflies flying around, and we have a very happy ballerina jumping on the trampoline. So 1 second while I fix my light going up. Cool, sorry about that. So let's see if we can multiply the number of butterflies that we have. To do that, I'm just going to go back here and select the butterfly. Um, and now I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate. Why aren't you flying? Okay. Oh, I guess that didn't work. Okay, I have to do this manually. So first I'm going to reduce the size to 40. Next, we are going to, of course, when the green flag is clicked, we want to change looks. So next costume, and we want it to glide all over the screen. So we're going to go into motion and glide 1 second to a random position. But there's something we're forgetting. Well, I'm forgetting, which is our loop that would make sure that happens over and over and over again. So here we go. So now we have 2 butterflies and 1 happy ballerina. Awesome. Do you guys want me to add anything else to the screen? Awesome. I think we can make the butterflies a bit smaller. So let's go down to 30 for the first one. And butterfly 1 can be 30. Cool. It's a very happy day. We have butterflies and a happy ballerina. And now let's see if we can make the ballerina just jump around herself without needing us. So we're going to go, when the space key is pressed, we want the ballerina to jump up 10 times, and she's going to switch between costume D and she would wait for a second or two and then switch back to costume A. Where's A? Okay, and come back. Let's see if we can fix the position. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to automate everything that our ballerina does so that we don't have to keep hitting the why so that we don't have to keep hitting the up and down arrow buttons. So I started by showing you guys how to do it. Well, following the activity, we showed you how to make the ballerina move using our arrows. But now we're just going to have fun and watch the ballerina move around herself, right? So, and now we're going to come back to X. Just going to duplicate this block and put it right here. Cool. And this is where we say goodbye to our lovely friends right here. And now, when the green flag is clicked and I press my space bar, we can see our ballerina jumping up and down, but she needs to wait like 3 seconds before she comes down, or 2 seconds. Okay, stop it and start it again. And when I hit my space bar, she jumps up 10 times. I want to make her wait another 2 seconds before she goes back up, because that way it's easier to see the transition. Okay, and I'll stop, make it full screen, and hit my green flag. And remember, to make the ballerina jump, we just hit the space bar. And she goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And I found something else to change, so she can wait for just 1 second. Awesome. So I'll stop, make this big, and go again. So hit my space bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess I didn't count. Okay. So is there anything else you think we can add? Let's see if we have any sounds. Okay. So when the green flag is clicked, we want to play a sound. I guess we don't have too many sounds, and if we try to pop, it would be a disaster. But let's see. Okay, let's try this. So because I want my pop to happen every time, I'm going to put that inside of my loop. If you'll let me disconnect. Just to show you guys how to mess around with the sounds. So I press my space bar. And every time she jumps up, we hear a pop. I don't know if you guys can hear mine. Okay, now you can. I couldn't find a different sound. That's why I keep using pop. But if you can find another sound, you can definitely use that sound for when the ballerina jumps up. Awesome. So let's see if we can, oops, no. So that's that about activity 1. That was not intentional. Let's see if we can move on to the next one, using coordinate. Okay, so this is also another Scratch project, and I'm going to, okay, so we start by saying bye to the cat, and now we're going to go select another. So we choose a backdrop first. Why can't I find the backdrop that's in the example? Okay, right here, blue sky. Next, we're going to choose a sprite. We already used the butterfly, so let's see if we can find something. Should we do a horse or a hippo or a ladybug? Let's do the hippo. The hippo looks happy and friendly. So next we are going to change the size. I think the size is fine for now, or we could go down to 18. Okay. And now we get to the coding. So I'm going into my events block, and when the green flag is clicked, okay, we want our hippo to fly to this position. Okay. So now we're just learning about the coordinates. Let me make this big so everyone can see. Oops, not that one, this one. So now that my hippo is in this corner of the screen, if you look at the bottom here, my X position and my Y position are -175 and -32. If I move my hippo across the screen to this other side, you see that my coordinates have changed. Let's keep that in mind as we go on with the rest of the challenge. So we're going to program our hippo to fly. Of course, we already did this part. And now we are going to select the sprite and drag it to that position that we'd like it to fly to, which we did from here to here. Okay. And we made sure to take note of the X and Y axis and the X and Y position. So let me take the number down. So we have 105 and 64, or 150, 70. Let's see. And now we're going to go into the motions tab and go to X and Y. So X and Y, lucky for us, has already been set for us right here. And the next thing to do is to ask our sprites to glide, right? So I want my sprite to glide across the screen up to this point. So that's what's happening right here. Thanks to Scratch for being so smart, we know that our hippo is going to go from being here to being there, right? So now let's hit the green flag and see, let's test out our code to see if it's working exactly how we intended to. Yes, it is. It's flying. It's a flying hippo. That's awesome. Okay. So now that looks to be it. And we're going to go ahead to learn how to try to personalize it. So we are going to apply a few of the same concepts that we applied in the first activity right here, where everyone's just having a great time on their own and popping and jumping and gliding across the screen, which is exactly what we want for our hippo. And if you look at the code that I have here for the hippo, for the butterfly, when the green flag is clicked, we want it to glide. We could apply the same concept for our hippo. So I'm going to go in here and grab a forever loop, or maybe let's just do it 10 times. Of course, no. Now let's try this out. And when my green flag is clicked, we're flying. That's awesome. Okay. What else could we do? Should we have more than one hippo flying? Let's see if we can add another sprite and have that sprite also fly. So we're going to go into animals and get a What other animal can fly? A parrot. From just like the one they had in the example. And I'm just going to okay. There's no way to flip the parrot. Yes, there is. No. Sorry about that. Parrot. It's not intentional. Okay, so I'm going to flip my parrot. Awesome. So they're going to be flying in opposite directions from each other. Very cool. So now I'm going to grab my event. So when the green flag is clicked, I need to reduce the size. 17. I want my parrot to go from here to here. I wonder if they're gonna bump into each other. Okay. So the first thing to do is to know my coordinates. So I'm going to go into motion and choose my X and Y axis and tell my parrots to always start there. So my parrot is always going to fly from X 191 and Y negative 112. Those are the coordinates for the starting point for our parrot. And when it glides across the screen, we want it to glide to the top right here, like it's flying away. Okay, so that means it's going to glide for a second to X at negative 169 and Y at 111. So if I do that, you see, but here's a good example of, see that we added a loop to our hippo. That's why our hippo flies across the screen 10 times consecutively without us having to hit the green flag every time we need it to fly. So that's the only thing that's missing for the parrot. As you can see, it only flies across the screen when I hit the green flag and just once because it's following the instructions. Computers do exactly what you tell them to do and nothing more. So we're going to make sure that our computer knows to go and repeat these steps right here 10 times. So now when we hit the green flag, you can see them flying in opposite directions 10 times. Let's see who stops first. They stop at the same time. Yay! Okay, so these are my examples. This is what I wanted to make sure that we all learned today, how to program and compute and do some animation with Scratch. And I look forward to exploring more ways to animate with you guys. And that's all that I have for you today, sadly. But next week, we are going to explore a few more exciting activities also. So feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. My name is Kafaya. Send me an email at hello@juicebase.org if you have any questions regarding anything that we just did today. I'll be more than happy to answer any question that you have. Okay, awesome. So let's see. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye.